This is my version of The Amazing Spider-Man 6. The movie begins with Spider-Man fighting Kingpin and his heavily armed forces. During the battle, Spider-Man and Kingpin are evenly matched, but Kingpin eventually escapes after his soldiers protect him. Peter is frustrated that he failed to bring Kingpin to justice and later comments to the police that maybe he will never be able to stop Kingpin from terrorizing the city. In the next scene, we learn that the story takes place several years in the future. Peter is now in his late 30s. He has become the most famous scientist in the world after using his father's formulas to create a way for human bodies to regenerate themselves. This breakthrough has dramatically increased the average human lifespan, earning Peter worldwide recognition and countless awards. We learn all of this shortly after the fight with Kingpin. In the following scene, Peter works as a university professor. He jokes with his students and clearly enjoys teaching. Ever since the Venom incident, Flash has struggled with severe psychological trauma and has been living in the hospital. Together, Peter and Mary Jane visit him. They learn that Flash may finally be released, but only if somebody agrees to take responsibility for him. Mary Jane knows Peter is Spider-Man and understands that he does not have time to care for Flash full-time. She decides to take Flash in and look after him herself. Peter promises to help whenever he can. In the next scene, Peter receives a message from one of the most secretive law enforcement organizations in the world. When Peter enters the meeting room, he immediately sees Black Cat, who begins flirting with him. Peter completely ignores her. Another person invited to the mission is Kraven the Hunter. Kraven is known as the greatest hunter in the world. Stories claim that he has defeated the most dangerous beasts imaginable and has never been beaten. Although Kraven is friendly, he warns everyone that if they sabotage the mission, they will regret it. The anonymous leader of the organization begins the briefing. Spider-Man, Black Cat, and Kraven must work together to capture a serial killer who has been murdering people across Europe for years and has recently been tracked to New York. The leader warns them that the killer is highly intelligent and extremely dangerous. The moment the leader reveals the killer's identity, Peter realizes something shocking. The serial killer is Uncle Ben's murderer. Black Cat jokes, "Then it shouldn't be difficult for you to kill him. I've already seen you kill before. You know that wasn't me. That was the symbiote. The mission is simple. Bring him back to France, dead or alive." Spider-Man, Kraven, and Black Cat return to New York and discover that the killer is planning to rob a bank. They sneak inside the building. Just as they think they have the advantage, Spider-Man is suddenly shot by a laser rifle, leaving a hole in his arm. We then see Peter's body slowly regenerate the wound, showcasing the incredible scientific breakthrough he created. The criminals cannot believe they have been found. During the battle, Black Cat and Kraven mercilessly kill members of the gang. Peter fights as well, but constantly tries to stop the killing. This eventually leads to a confrontation between Spider-Man and Black Cat. Their fight becomes brutal. Despite his regenerative abilities, Peter loses a tremendous amount of blood. Eventually, he defeats and captures Black Cat. Exhausted from the battle, Peter then notices that Kraven has already captured the serial killer. Kraven forced the killer to watch his entire gang die. Now he raises his sword, preparing to execute him. Spider-Man stops him and takes away the sword. Peter has just prevented the death of the man who murdered Uncle Ben. Peter removes his mask. The killer immediately recognizes him and finally understands who Spider-Man really is. Kraven yells, "He killed your uncle. Do you have no heart? Avenge him." Peter replies, "No. Who are we to decide who deserves to live and who deserves to die?" Even after everything, Peter still believes every life has value. Even the life of his uncle's murderer. Years of pain and emotion pour out of him. Kraven attacks. The hunter dominates the fight. He has conquered every beast he has ever faced. Why should Spider-Man be any different? Kraven eventually cuts off Peter's arm. A new arm slowly begins regenerating, but the process is not instant, and Peter loses enormous amounts of blood. The battle continues. Eventually, Peter collapses. After everything he has seen, Kraven is convinced that Spider-Man is dead. Craven once again prepares to kill the serial killer. But Peter fires one final web and stops him. This gives Peter the opportunity to kill Craven. Instead, he captures both Craven and Black Cat. Broken and barely alive, Peter crawls across the floor toward the serial killer. He looks at him with kindness and relief. The killer cannot believe what he is witnessing. Peter removes his mask and places it into the killer's hands. Then he frees him. Peter says, "It is never too late. You have power. Now take responsibility. Don't let me down. Please don't." And then,
Peter dies.
The serial killer stares at the mask. His hands begin shaking. He starts crying. We then see him escaping while Craven and Black Cat remain trapped. The next scene is Peter Parker's funeral. The entire world now knows that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. At the funeral, we see a traumatized Flash Thompson standing beside Mary Jane, who continues caring for him. We see Shocker and his elderly mother, who is still alive. We see Peter's students. We see the spirit of Gwen Stacy. We see Black Cat filled with regret for everything she has done. Even Craven attends the funeral out of respect. He has never witnessed a warrior with such strength and determination. Craven tells Black Cat, "No beast ever fought like him." After the funeral, the screen fades to black. Feels like the end of Spider-Man. But it isn't. In the next scene, Kingpin is sitting in his office drinking coffee and eating cookies. Suddenly, the serial killer enters. He brutally beats Kingpin, the man who has controlled and exploited the city for years. The killer points a gun at Kingpin's head. But he does not pull the trigger. Instead, he handcuffs him and leaves him in front of a police station. As the final scene of the entire series, we see Uncle Ben's killer standing at Peter's grave. He says, "What I witnessed cannot be described with words. But I understood. I understood what you wanted from me. I understood what Spider-Man wants from the entire world. You want us to fight for everyone. Even for the smallest people. Even for those who do not deserve it. You want us to care for the people who need us. And everyone needs Spider-Man. Everyone needs to be more like him. Spider-Man exists in all of us. Even in me." The former killer places Peter's mask over his face and walks away from the grave. And that is my ending to the series. This would be my perfect ending for The Amazing Spider-Man, and I think Andrew Garfield would have delivered this story brilliantly. Let me know in the comments what you think. Was it too extreme? Would you change anything? And tell me which movies you would like to see fan fiction stories for next.